Have you ever felt totally burned out from school to the point where you are constantly exhausted, unmotivated, and you feel like you're trapped in a cycle of stress and pressure? And this is taking a toll on your mental health. Hello, Saints. Welcome to another unique episode of Catholic Faith Forum. I am Evelyn Iwonha, and on today's episode, we will be answering the question, can schooling contribute to depression? Joining me in this discussion is a prestigious guest I would like each and every one of us to meet when we return from this break. Stay with us. Welcome back, and if you're joining us for the first time, this is Catholic Faith Forum. I'm Evelyn Iwonha, and our discussion today is centered on, can schooling contribute to depression? Allow me to introduce to you my extraordinary guest, in person of Professor Ngozi Osarenren. You are very much welcome, ma.
Thank you. I'm already flushing because
and you look gorgeous too.
You said distinguished guest. Thank you. That is a little bit flattering.
Thank you, ma. Professor Ngozi Osarenren is a professor of counseling psychology in the University of Lagos, a former commissioner of education in Edo State, a regular commentator on current affairs, mother of 2 adult ladies. She loves dancing, listening to music, watching movies, TV, and relaxing. She feels fulfilled after 31 years of teaching and producing professors. You are very much welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much.
I'm becoming to learn.
I am also glad to be here.
Thank you very much, ma.
It is my pleasure.
Thank you, ma. So some time ago, I had a friend who basically could not cope with academics and the way the whole toll of presentations and lectures were taking on her and everything. So basically, she was overwhelmed. So sometimes when we get to class, she would just start crying. You know, there's an assignment to do or there's a test to do. Then she's overwhelmed with the bulk of work, and she doesn't even pay attention in class. You know, when you see someone and the person is just lost in thought. So basically, so my friend had to conclude that it seems like this girl is depressed or so. You know, people use this word depressed.
You just throw words around. You just throw words around. You just throw words around. Before you get to depression, you have to first of all know that initially is anxiety. And we all have experienced anxiety.
True.
Healthy anxiety. Because there are certain amounts of stress we face. And our inability to handle the stress is what may now, in the long run, degenerate to depression. But anxiety is healthy, and most times when you have anxiety, when you're experiencing anxiety, and whatever is the source of that anxiety, once it is over, you are back normal and yourself. So by the time we are talking of depression, we are talking of deep-seated psychological disorder.
Wow.
So it's not a word we should use carelessly, because oftentimes, like the story you just narrated, is a student that apparently was experiencing anxiety and did not have help. Because one, most students have inflated ideas of who they are. Many students have distorted idea of what schooling is all about.
Wow.
And when you have misplaced priorities, it becomes a problem. And when it has moved from a challenge to a problem, and you are not able to handle it, that is when it gets to depression.
Depression.
Yes. So I don't want us to use, the word is too heavy.
It's too heavy.
Yes, it's too heavy. We should be talking about anxiety, we should be talking about stress, not depression. Depression, by the time you get to the point of depression, you are on the brink of abnormal behavior, which is a psychological disorder.
So, Ma, please, from your explanation, how can I distinguish when someone is anxious and when someone is depressed? Because since it seems to be that there is a relation, that is, progressively anxiety can lead to depression. So, what can...
Anxiety that is not properly handled. Because, like the example you cited, if that young lady had help, when I say help, support, social support, her friends that will see her not doing her assignments, her friends that saw her crying, what did they do? Before it got to that level of not doing her assignments, not paying attention in the class, there are other predisposing factors. Not paying attention. What if there are some emotional problems at home? What if there are some other relationship problems that she's not able to handle? And again, where I said misplacement of priority, she obviously had not thought of the focus of why she's in school. Why am I in school? That is the first question. Am I in school to pass through school or for school to pass through me? And once you're able to internalize that, you're able to articulate that properly, you are home and dry.
Ma, please hold that thought. Let's take a break and find out who the saint of the week is. Stay with us.
Our saint of the week is Saint Bernard of Clairvaux. Saint Bernard, abbot and doctor of the church. Saint Bernard was born in 1090, of noble parentage in Burgundy, France, in the castle of Fontaines near Dijon. He grew up in a family of 5 brothers and 1 sister. Due to his family background, he had a strong likeness for mercy, justice, and respect for others. And both his parents were exceptional models of virtue. He was sent at an early age to a college at Chantillon, where he was conspicuous for his remarkable piety and spirit of recollection. At the same place, he began his studies of theology and Holy Scripture. After the death of his mother, fearing the snares and temptation of the world, he resolved to embrace the newly established and very austere institute of the Cistercian order. At the age of 22, a place he was destined to become the greatest ornament. 3 years later, he was sent along with 12 other monks to establish a monastery in the diocese of Champagne. The monastery was later named Clairvaux, which means light of the valley. He led the other monks there as an abbot for the rest of his life. He founded numerous other monasteries, composed a number of works, and undertook many journeys for the honor of God. Several bishoprics were offered him, but he refused them all. The reputation of Saint Bernard spread far and wide. Even the popes were governed by his advice. During this period, he suffered some health issues, such as gastritis, hypertension, anemia, and migraine. Saint Bernard is known for his quiet and simple life, his diligence in his apostolic work, his humility, and his devotion to promoting the Marian prayer, the Memorare. He was eminently endowed with the gift of miracles. He died on August 20th, 1153, and was canonized less than 3 decades later in 1174. His feast day is August the 20th. Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, pray for us.
Welcome back, and our discussion is still centered on, can schooling contribute to depression? Just before the break, we said that there's healthy anxiety, and when anxiety is not well properly handled or coped with, it becomes depression. And then
it may lead
to depression.
It's not categorical.
It's not categorical. And then you said that, just like I cited an example of a friend of mine who was passing through a lot of struggles in academics. Just
And
because
you
she was
concluded that she was
depressed. You made mention of friends who were there with her that noticed all the signs that she was giving, not doing her assignment, not paying attention in class. What did they do? So what do you advise to people who notice these things?
I don't give advice. I don't give advice. By my profession, I don't give advice. We make suggestions. Those her friends should try to find out what are the issues disturbing her. How can they help her? And the school where she is, do they have a counseling center? Let her go to the counseling center to meet the counselor. Who is your friend? The counselor is your friend. You go to the counselor and you will get all that will help you to live, because we are interested in your living a fully functioning life.
Fully functioning life. But sometimes I feel that academics could be overwhelming.
Academics could be overwhelming because of attitude. Attitude. You know, it's not as if we didn't go to school.
Yeah.
We went to school. And I went to school as a young girl, so I understand. But like I said before, when you have distorted idea of what all these mean, if you have things you are supposed to do, you have assignments, most students will leave that assignment until a day to submission. And that will now turn to panic.
Yes, of course.
So why was it that you were given an assignment to submit in 2 weeks? You now waited till the 13th day. So you should own the responsibility of the failure. It is not the school, it is you, the individual. Because you were given assignment, assuming on the 1st of April, and you had to submit it on the 14th of April. You had a whole 2 weeks.
A whole 2 weeks.
What were you doing?
True.
You were playing. Even if you were not playing, there are other competing factors that distracted you. We are talking of focus. You have to focus. You have to focus. And for me, we all have to own, because until I accept responsibility of what is happening to me, and you accept responsibility of what is happening to you, you won't be able to handle the problem.
So, Ma, what do you suggest? You made mention of attitude towards and the idea of school, of what school is supposed to mean to a student, and how the school is supposed to.
If school is for me to go and just get a degree. You know, we jokingly say that, tell me how much it will cost for a 4-year program, and we will pay and go, collect the certificate in 1 week and go. I am reluctant to say, though true, that many young people are impatient. Many young people are in a hurry to excel, or rather to achieve, not to excel, to achieve. And what I always suggest is that you should make haste timeously. Make haste slowly. Because if you don't, you have to first of all ask yourself some fundamental questions. Why am I here? You know, when I came in, I started asking, who are you? What are you doing here? And all that. You need to own your environment.
True.
And some of you turned around to also prove to me that we are in charge here. When, Latif was taking my pictures, he was in charge, telling me what to do because he knows what he's supposed to do with me.
Yeah.
And when I wanted to come for prepping for my mic, you held me back because you needed to get information about me.
Yes.
How many students? These are simple analogy, what happened in the last 20, 30 minutes. But how many students, as you are entering, how many students have timetable? Personal timetable, time management, study habits. Because even if you go and enjoy yourself, and it's your right to enjoy, I believe we must enjoy. As a young person, you have to enjoy. But you should also know when to draw the line. You should also know that in this enjoyment, there is work. And hard work does not kill.
Very correct. Very correct. It is now time for the Know Your Faith session. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi guys, welcome to another beautiful episode of Know Your Faith. I am Jeffrey, your host. On today's episode, we're asking why do Reverend Fathers kiss the altar at the beginning of Mass? Why? I want to know. I know you want to know too. Now, this is something that we see every time at the beginning of the Mass. But how many of us actually know the reason behind this? Oh, don't worry, relax. We're here to learn. From the earliest times, it can be seen that a kiss was not only a token of love, but under certain circumstances, it was also a symbol of profound respect. It is in accordance with this symbolism that the Church enjoins the kissing of many holy objects, like relics, the book of the Gospels, the cross, blessed palms, candles, the hands of the clergy, and nearly all the utensils and vestments connected with the liturgy. Every time a priest kisses the altar, he does so in order to honor the altar of sacrifice, where the miracle of the Eucharist occurs. That is, transubstantiation. The kiss also signifies the union of the spouse, Christ who is the spouse, and his bride, the church. Another reason, which is deeply rooted in ancient Christian tradition, is to reverence the relics of the saints or martyr placed within the altar itself. In summary, every time a priest kisses the altar, he does so in order to honor the altar of sacrifice, which represents Christ, where the miracle of the Eucharist takes place. 2. The kiss also signifies the union of the spouse, Christ, who is the spouse, and his bride, the church. 3. Finally, it can also be to reverence the relics of the saint or martyr placed within the altar itself. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as Dominican Media Presents. And also do not forget to share this video with your friends, like it, hit that notification button if you've not hit it. I don't know, what's your problem? Why are you delaying? Why are you wasting time? Hit it now. Hit it now. Nice one. You're a good fan. So also do not forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Dominican Media. So till next time, be bold, be Catholic.
Welcome back, and we are still discussing, can schooling contribute to depression? Ma, just before the break, I was going to ask you this question, that how can students put themselves in that position that doesn't make them anxious of the academics, doesn't make them forget the reason why they are in school, or doesn't make them distracted from the factors or like other factors that actually might derail their attention or their focus from the academics? Because if there's supposed to be a balance between, okay, my normal life after school and when I'm in school. So some students actually find it or they struggle with that balance. What do you suggest such a student can do?
Such a student should go and see a counselor. Such a student should go and see a counselor. There are counselors in every institution.
Okay.
They should go and see a counselor. Or should have somebody he or she could talk with starting first by having a timetable, personal timetable, not the school timetable,
Okay.
not your lecture timetable, no, your personal timetable. Because after lectures,
Yeah.
there's life after lectures. And you cannot, after lectures, move to a party. Even if you move to a party, you dance and know that it's time to go back. You go back and sleep. And some students, sad, they think spending all their time in the church is what will make them to be known as good children.
Wow.
There was some years ago, about 20 years ago, no, about 15 years ago, one of my students, I don't want to mention her name because if I do, Father may know the person. She comes to St. Dominic's.
Okay.
And there was a program, I think it's a Sacred Heart program. Exam was starting on Monday. And they had a retreat on Saturday. She came, no, my paper was on Tuesday, okay. And there was a retreat for Monday. She came to tell me that, please, she would be late for my exam. I just looked at her. I said, what did you drink this morning? Because as far as I'm concerned, she had taken some very strong alcohol. What? Exam is tomorrow, and you want to go for a church retreat on Monday, a day before. Who are you impressing? The Reverend Father, who doesn't bloody care. Sure. The Reverend Father is interested in your progress. Or is it the Christian mothers? Or who? Who do you want to impress? So I told her, if by the time exam starts and I don't see you, and I was also HOD then, so she felt because I come to St. Dominic's, yeah, that relationship, she could have some leverages. I told her no. She went and reported me, not report as in report, she went and mentioned it to another colleague. That one came, Prof, this is good now, let her go. I said, are you listening to yourself? If she's your child, would you want your child to go and spend a whole day in the church? Sir, but she has, I said, no problem. She will have carryover. But it's your course. I said, I'm sorry. I don't care. We must not misplace our priorities. Sure. I had to throw this up for us to understand, because this particular student understands that my background as a practicing Catholic, my background as being in the same church, yeah, not in the same parish, being her HOD and being her lecturer. She thought she had it all made, but it doesn't work that way.
Yes, true.
So it's for us to focus, to place our priorities right. I keep saying that if we don't have our priorities right, we are not going to get it. So for you to say that schooling may be a source of depression or a mental health issue for young people, it can only be if that young person has not told herself what it means or the reason why she's in school. Sure. Because if you know why you are in school, you will arrange yourself well.
Thank you very much, Ma, for sharing from your wealth of knowledge. I know that as you're watching this, you're enlightened that it is important for you to place your priorities, place them right, know your boundaries, know where to draw a line. know where to create a balance. We have come to the end of our discussion.
Know what the real issues are. Know why you are in school. Know what you want out of life. You have to properly articulate all that. And if you don't, that is when you will start having stress that may degenerate to depression. So we have to look at it. Everybody has anxiety.
True.
Healthy anxiety. If it's assignments, you have 2 weeks to submit, or at times 1 month. You finish it and you keep it. Don't wait for the last minute. That is not good.
Yeah. Thank you very much, ma.
Thank you too for having me.
Thank you, ma.
It's my pleasure. And I love coming around, and I loved this. I hope I've been able to help a little.
Yes.
Or is it like this or like this or like this?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thanks to you too for staying with us to the very end. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. Follow us at CFF on TV, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you have questions or suggestions, drop them in the comment section. Till next time, I remain Evelyn Iwonha. Keep being saint in jeans and shirts. Bye-bye.